Hey, so this is Miss Walters here, and I'm coming to you guys as Miss Walters because I've been reflecting on the past few days and everything that's been going on in our country and our community. And I noticed that I haven't had the most positive reactions and interactions with people regarding the issues and the things going on. And I'm part of a book study right now with my colleagues from school. I am a teacher, and we are working on this concept of mindfulness. And what's funny is that I've actually been practicing mindfulness with my students this year, and then this book study opportunity came about, and I was like, oh, I'm all about it. But the last few days, I haven't been practicing mindfulness. And I really want to share and be able to sort of put a spin on what I've put out into the universe. And I realize that my best platform is as Miss Walters, because Miss Walters is poised, Miss Walters is patient, Miss Walters is calm. Vanessa, she's reactive. And so I need to work on combining the two so that Miss Walters and Vanessa are practicing mindfulness. And so I just want to share some things about mindfulness, especially in this time of social unrest that we have right now. And so what mindfulness really is a way of thinking. And of course, I'm using my PowerPoint here. This is what Miss Walters does. This is how she keeps her thoughts organized and everything. So mindfulness is clear attention to what one does and thinks. And so it's really a state of a way of thinking that you can train your brain into becoming a better and more socially, emotionally intelligent person. That's a skill that we don't put much focus and emphasis on these days. You know, everybody's focused on math or athletic, aptitude and academics, and we're not paying much attention to our social emotional well-being. And it's so important for us to be able to raise and bring up and be responsible citizens of this world. And so we have to make sure that we are teaching skills that kids can grasp onto, since today they just don't seem to be inherent. So mindfulness includes self-awareness, self-regulation, self-motivation, empathy, and social skills. Those are sort of the 5 components that comprise a stable, well-balanced human being who is able to function social, emotionally, and function in that way. So what I want to focus on is emotional control. Let me move this here. So emotional control is your ability to notice emotions before responding. So that when I read this chapter in this book that I'm studying, I was like, whoa, this is so applicable to what's going on right now. Lately, I have not been having emotional control. I've not been practicing emotional control, and I've been responding before I've noticed my emotions and recognized them. And so there were some awesome steps that this book laid out to help be able to develop that emotional control, and I just wanted to share that. So a process for reacting rationally, because a lot of times on social media, we are very reactive, and we're quick to just, press that keyboard and, be these keyboard heroes, and we can't do that. I mean, you can, but is it the most responsible thing to do? So I want us to think about emotional control in this process, reacting rationally, in the realm of mindful posting. So posting mindfully. So the process involves 3 steps. So there's awareness, analysis, and choice. And so in going through these 3 steps, you really have to think about each part, and there are questions that sort of guide your thinking. And you're doing this in, whatever context it is. And today I want to just use mindful posting. So awareness. So one question. So what emotions am I experiencing? So when I see this post, or what's going on that's making me want to make this post or respond in the way that I am going to? Am I angry? Am I enlightened? Am I happy? Am I frustrated? What emotion is going on? I have to know and realize that. And then what is my interpretation of the situation? This is important because when you read and see something, you're going to get a sense of some kind of emotion. And you being able to realize, okay, this is what I feel when I see this situation or when I read about this situation, makes you aware that others might not see it the same way. So you have to first have the awareness of what your interpretation is to be able to understand what others' interpretations may be. So the next step is analysis. So some questions we ask when we want to analyze, okay, what actions will I take? So when we're thinking about mindful posting, so I think about, okay, am I posting just this quote that I saw? Am I including a visual, some kind of picture or video with this post? Am I going to be adding in a quote or my own take on what's happening, or am I just leaving it the way it is and leaving it up for interpretation? So what actions are you going to take? And then what's going to be the outcome of my actions? So if I just post that quote alone by itself with nothing, I'm leaving that open for interpretation for that audience, for them to gain meaning and, interpret it the way that it just happens naturally for them. If I add a little blurb or my take on it, now I'm sort of intending to change or persuade or just share my take on what I'm posting. And it then is going to influence the reader or whoever's, receiving it. They are going to then have some sort of reaction to it based on what I have or have not included. So what are the outcomes of my actions? And then this one is one of the most important parts of this process, I feel. Will this outcome be the most positive for all concerned? So with social media, you have the ability to reach people around the globe, potentially millions of people. I mean, we think about it in our friend base, but I mean, things can go viral in a second and you never know what it's going to be. Is it going to be this positive post, this crazy emotional post? You don't know. And so you've got to think about, is this post, with the actions that I've taken, I've included my context, my visuals, my videos, is this going to have the most positive outcome for everyone concerned? People who are pro, against, unsure, what is going to be the outcome? So that's the analysis process. And then finally, choice. We all have a choice on whether or not we post something. It's, we have the freedom to post whatever we would like. You might get Facebook police come and shut down your post, but I mean, it gets out there for even just a little bit. So what is your intended outcome? What do you want to happen? What is your purpose for sharing this post or making the response? And then what actions will attain that outcome? So what are you going to do once you've made the post? Are you just going to leave it there and let it fester and, sort of watch it either grow or, are you going to engage in an active conversation so that your post has some more meaning? What action? So you have to know that your choice is a direct result of all of these questions that you've asked. So I challenge everyone to sort of take this process for reacting rationally. And the next post that you make on social media, I want you to go through this process and think about these questions. I know it seems very clinical or very academic, but when I stopped and I thought about this, when I read it in my book study, and I thought about it in the context of some of the posts that I've made over the last few days, some of the responses that I've given in the last few days, and I asked myself these questions, and then would I still post those things? And the answer is absolutely not for some of them. It wasn't a responsible post. And as citizens of this human race, we have to make sure that our actions are responsible and that they are going to be the most impactful in a positive way for the most people possible. So that is my challenge to you. And eventually it's something that, you know, you start to internalize. You'll always think in the back of your head, you know, you may not sit and ask yourself each one of these single questions, but it will be there. You know, you'll have that little kernel of something to latch onto. So that is my challenge for you. I do just want to give credit to the author of the book that these strategies came from, the classroom strategies, and the book is called Mindfulness in the Classroom. And I just want to make sure that I'm doing my part to support this cause in the best way for me. And I think that for me, this is going to be the way that I can share and that I can make an impact in some way, because we can't all be foot soldiers on the ground. We can't be all out there with signs, you know, just, you know, we have to find what's going to work for us. And I just want to try this out. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that this was helpful in some way. And remember to stay mindful.